Hey, what's up and welcome to the video. So in today's video we will talk about a fast track to success when it comes to Instagram theme pages. And that fast track is actually buying in a successful Instagram theme page, right? And what I will basically do is I will jump over to my computer really fast and show you basically 3 case studies of how clients of mine and how I myself was able and how we were able to buy Instagram theme pages for a pretty good price and how we now have sick ones, right? So the first client is Markus Danke. You guys already knew it and know this guy from the client success case studies. Basically he bought this page over here, Money Explore. When it had 10,000 followers, we can even check it on Social Blade, right? If you go over here and you put Money Explore, you can see right now, right here, that the page just 30 days ago had, it's loading, 23,000 followers, and about 40 days ago, which is like 1st of June, it had 10,000 followers. That's when the client bought the page for $3,000 US. We optimized stuff and we literally took it in 30 days and 11 days, so 41 days to 65,000 followers. So we grew the page by over 50,000 followers in the last 30 days, which is awesome. And since buying over 55,000 followers, which is pretty cool. And he spent $3,000 for the page, bought it. Now within 30 days later, it's worth probably $10,000, $50,000, and in the future it will be worth so much more, right? That's the first case study. Second case study is I myself bought the page money.guiden. Okay, I actually bought the page at 50,000 followers, a little bit less, like 48,000 or something, and I was able to get a really good price because I offered the guy who sold the page to me not just money, but we also we created a deal that I help him out with his Instagram account when it comes to monetization, etc. When it comes to business strategy, and I also bought shoutouts on his pages, right? So he literally got like $5,000 I paid for the page, which is pretty fucking good, to be honest, for 50,000 followers within this niche. Okay, in other niches the prices are way different. Like, this is not the business niche, this is the earning tips niche, which is really strong, has a really high US audience, but we'll talk about that in a second. Basically what I did is I offered him $5,000 for the page. Then I also buy $3,000 worth of shoutouts on his pages, which I anyways would have done, honestly, right? And I also offered him consulting, right, and coaching on helping him with his other pages that he owns. And he did the deal. I got an insane price, 5K for this page. It's really good, because in a few months from now the page will be worth tens of thousands of dollars, 20, 30, 40, 50K, and I even now wouldn't even sell the page for $50,000, right? Because I know that it will be so much more worth in the future. And another example is, let me go back to the screen, Soup Cars Hub, right? Another client of mine. Before we started working together, he bought this page over here with around 20,000 followers. Then we started working together, we optimized the page, and guess what? In the last 30 days, it grew 83,000 followers. And it's now at 115,000 followers, which is awesome, right? So buying an Instagram theme page can really make sense because you can skip the early stages. The hardest part about an Instagram theme page is getting the first 1,000 followers and then the first 10,000 followers. Like, that's the hardest part. And it can take a really long time, especially if you're not a professional yet. Okay, you will become it through the videos, but after that, of course, there's still a learning curve, right? And you can fast track your success to growing fast and actually getting results immediately by simply buying a page, right? Now, my recommendation for you would be to buy a page that has above 10,000 followers, and I think the ideal range will be 10 to 20, maybe 30,000 followers, because that's when the pages will be the cheapest. Sometimes you will also find good deals for pages with 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers, 300,000 followers, and if you find a good deal, I would even recommend you to buy those pages, right? I even back in the days bought a page with about 500,000 followers. It was a couple of years ago, like 2-3 years ago, and it was a deal of 2 pages. So the one had 500K, and another one had 300,000 followers, and I literally paid like $5,500 for both of the pages, right? And now they make insanely good money each and every single month just from shoutouts, right? If you can find good deals, which is, by the way, a little bit hard now, because now by the time that there's so many Instagram coaches, all of the theme page owners have really come to the conclusion that you can make a lot of money with the pages, and many of the theme page owners are making a lot of money, right? But 2-3 years ago, it wasn't like that, okay? People were running the theme pages, they didn't know how to monetize, and they were selling 800,000 followers for $5,500, right? So it was a golden time. Now it's a little bit different, but you can still do it, and in this video, I will show you how to do it, okay? So first of all, I would look out for a page 10,000 followers plus, right? Make sure that it's within the good niche, right? I myself am a big fan of the business niche, of the earnings tips niche. I'm not a fan of the motivational quotes niche because it has a high Indian audience, right? But even you can look outside of the business niche, right, and go into other niches like the cars niche, right? The owner of the page who has this cars niche, he, for example, also just made his first $2,000 with it, right? I don't know how much he paid for the page, maybe like $500, I guess, right? Because those other niches are really, really cheap. Because the people don't know how to monetize, but if you know how to monetize, it's also going to work, right? And we can talk about it in the videos, or we talk about it in the videos, in the live calls, etc., etc. So look into other niches too, not just business niche, right? But be careful. For example, there's an Instagram account, Food Eating, right? They are a client of us. That page is really hard to monetize, right? Because the food, people who are just interested in junk food and everything, how will you monetize? Do they sell a digital product and losing weight? No, the people are interested in losing weight. Not losing weight. They are interested in junk food, right? Fitness niche is also kind of like hard to monetize, right? So look out for good niches that are easy to monetize. And yeah, I must have earning tips niche, business niche, etc., etc. But also look outside of that. Okay. So what I was talking about, follower wise, right? 10,000 plus followers. I like 10 to 30k followers. That's probably where you get the best deals. Okay. But make sure it's 10,000 plus followers. It can be 10,200, 10,300 followers. That's totally fine. Easy. Marcus Dunk did the same. Sometimes in cases it can even be below 10,000 followers, but I would recommend 10,000 plus followers. Okay. Second thing that you really want to look out for, the page must, okay, and there's no exception to this rule, it must grow consistently organically. Okay. If a page has below 10,000 followers, they usually grow like 50 to 200 followers a day, right? Most of the time 50 to 100 followers a day, 150 maybe. Okay, if it has 10,000 plus followers, it might already grow like 200, 300, 400 followers a day, maybe 500, right? And that's the range that you want to be looking for. And those pages should consistently hit green numbers, like this page over here, right? So over here you can see consistently green numbers, okay? Actually what you're looking for is not a hype like this. So if, for example, a page is below 10,000 followers and the page is growing 3,000-4,000 followers per day, I wouldn't recommend to buy it. Why? Because probably the reason why it's blowing up so much is because the page had a lucky shot. Okay, and there's many pages who have a lucky shot, right? They start posting, and then the first reel or the second reel or the third reel they post, it goes super viral and gets like 40 million views, and then they grow 3, 4, 5, 10,000 followers, right, a day, and the page goes to like 30k followers, but then it drops, right, and it goes to zero and doesn't grow anymore because the owner's doing something wrong, etc., etc. Of course, you can still fix it, but I would look for a little bit lower numbers. As I said, under 10,000 followers, 50 to maybe 200 followers a day, and if it's above 10,000 followers, maybe 300, 400, 500 followers a day, but consistently all the time, right? And look out for if the page overall has great engagement, and if the reels overall are getting views, or if there's just one reel that has like 40, 50 million views. If that's the case and the other ones aren't performing, don't buy it, okay? So look for consistent growth. And the next and third most important metric is high US audience, especially within the business niche, okay? Get the real insights, get the owner to make a screen recording. Often those people fake their insights, right? So don't fall into that trap of buying a page with, like the wrong insights. Let the owner make a screen recording, take a look at the insights, and you always want to have a higher US audience than Indian audience. If it's the same, or if Indian and US audience, if there's a tiny difference, like it's 22% Indian audience and 21% US audience, okay, fine. But ideally, the US audience is higher than the Indian audience. And especially when the page has so less followers, because over the time, usually the Indian audience grows, right? So if with 10,000 followers, it already has like 22% Indian followers and 22% US followers, probably by the time it has 500,000 followers, you will have 30+% Indian followers and 22 still US, right? Which is still fine, which is still okay, but ideally, right, more US followers than Indian followers, right? Because otherwise you will in the long run have a hard time when it comes to monetization, okay? So those are the rules. Negotiate really, really hard, okay? Oftentimes, like the guy who first offered me the page, Money Guiden, I think he wanted to have 25,000 US dollars. I paid 5k, right? You can negotiate a lot, trust me, a lot. Because if someone is willing to sell his page, he immediately already like mentally made the decision, okay, I want to sell the page, right? So you just have to structure a great deal. When it comes to deals, there's no rules to it, okay? I don't mean there's no rules to it in a way of scamming people or whatever. Of course, don't do it, right? You just don't do it, okay? It's not humanly correct. But with no rules, I mean, outside of money. You can also offer stuff. So for example, what I did is, hey, I offered to also buy shoutouts from other pages, which I would have immediately done, worth of $3,000. Plus I offered coaching and consulting, right? So you can structure a deal differently, right? You can also, for example, offer the guy, instead of making a one-time payment, you guys can set up a contract and you can be like, hey, okay, the guy wants $5,000 for the page. I'll pay you $6K or $7K, but I will pay monthly rates of $500. Some people will also do that deal, right? You then upfront don't pay that much, but you still have, like, you don't pay that much, but the guy in the long run earns more money, but you also get the page, and you can then monetize, and you can, from the monetization, pay for the page, right? So there's kind of like no rules to the game. You can think outside the box and create really cool deals that are beneficial for both sides. And yeah, as I said, negotiate hard, make sure to look for consistent growth, higher US audience than Indian audience, and yeah, 10 to 30,000 followers, and a good niche, of course, right? But yeah, I guess that's for the video. Thank you so much for watching. As I said, if you can find a good deal for pages with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 followers, go ahead and do it. Or if you don't want to do it, send me the deal and I will do it. And yeah, I guess that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you inside the next one. Bye bye.